Let's talk about busted heavy metal dark fantasy. Yeah, that's actually what it's called. Boy, am I looking forward to this. It's Netflix's latest fantasy anime series, and I am going to give my own personal thoughts and feelings on season 1, discussing some key plot details along the way. Of course, that means there will be spoilers ahead, so you have been warned. Come on, with a title like that, how could I not review this one? The first episode of Bastard made me laugh out loud on numerous occasions at how bombastic the entire thing is. It's the dictionary definition of machismo. Medieval fantasy world, muscles, swords, monsters, a ninja fortress, and tits. I bet Stu's gutted he's not covering this one. The premise here is a simple one, so simple it was yet another reason I laughed at it. It's like the creators did a tick box exercise on generic fantasy and metal stereotypes and combined the data for a clearly tongue-in-cheek show that doesn't take itself too seriously and is pretty fun to endure. In a post-apocalyptic future where a creature formed from humanity's darkness has fought in a long war against a creature formed from light, causing a huge level of destruction to the planet, the remaining survivors have formed a medieval society of wizards, knights, and everything in between. And then it blends this pretty stock, exaggerated concept with metal iconography, and what you end up with is as if a Castlevania game was scored by Blind Guardian. The main setting is the kingdom of Metallicana. Yeah, really. There's even a Lars involved, and our main characters are the interesting combination of Yoko and Lucian. Lucian is a young boy that contains the reincarnated spirit of a powerful wizard named Dark Schneider. What a name that is, by the way. And whenever the time is needed to summon Dark Schneider from within Lucian, he has to receive a virginal kiss, which is where Yoko comes in. The dynamic between the two is particularly creepy, but also kinda well played and creative. Yoko is horny AF for a piece of Dark Schneider, who is a hulking mass of muscles and brawn, with an over-the-top masculine persona like Flashheart from Blackadder. Yoko defo wants some of the swish and flick kind of magic from him, but her kiss can also revert Dark Schneider back to Lucian again, and whenever she does this, Lucian loses his memory of being Dark Schneider. However, while in the Dark Schneider body, he can still react to Yoko being his guardian and talking down to him like a parent. So now and again, you get this powerful Goliath submitting to the will of a strong-spirited young woman, and then when he changes to Lucian, she's still in that guardianship mind state, but keeps craving some of the old in-out from Dark Schneider. However, the princess of Metallicana, Sheila, also begins to fall for Dark Schneider, and due to being a version herself, she's also able to change Lucian. So you have a side order of jealousy and envy between Yoko and Sheila as they both get doe-eyed over this seedy creep. As far as character dynamics go, it's easily the most interesting thing going on in this show, with Yoko constantly torn between wanting to keep Lucian as the sweet, kind young boy that she needs to protect, and wanting to summon the beastly cocksure hunk that she wants to bang. And let me tell you, in the latter scenarios, the artists here don't leave anything to the imagination. It's downright perverse in several parts, and it likely won't be too long until this show succumbs to Rule 34. As for the rest of the show, from a script writing point of view, it's beautifully stupid. Characters here flat out state exactly what's happening right in front of you, or if a certain character appears, they're immediately contextualized. It'd be like bumping into someone you used to work with in a shop, and the first thing you say is, "Ah, Stephen Jonesworthy, a veritable former colleague of mine, who many years ago joined me in stacking shelves in Tesco during the coronavirus outbreak." He wouldn't talk like that. It's so overly done. My preference has always been show, don't tell, and Bastard is the complete opposite of that, and I find that hilarious. In episode 2, Dark Schneider summons a golem, it starts to move, and one of the characters in the room shouts, "It's moving." Yeah, thanks for that explanation, otherwise I'd be completely lost. Honestly, the dialogue here is hilarious. Here's just a couple examples from the first 2 episodes that made me chuckle.
I found you, princess, and now I'm going to kill you!
Besides, we gave you the information to help you succeed today!
They did what?
Where's this powerful evil aura coming from?
Not to mention, you're also the one who sealed me away after I was reborn. An anti-magic shield, huh?
He's all right.
Not only am I a priest, I'm a warrior monk.
Nobody talks like real people. It's like every line of dialogue is an awkward Oblivion NPC, and I didn't take it too seriously and just let it amuse me, which I think is the best mindset to take here. Like, for instance, the main evil forces in the show are the Dark Rebel Army. Hearing that nearly made me piss myself. Like, guys, how do we demonstrate that these are evil? What can we call them? Oh, I know, yeah, how about the Hell Demon Death Squad? That'll teach them. I'm also a huge fan of how self-indulgent the show can be with its metal influences. Like, its theme song is a banger by Cold Rain, but the entire intro's like this 2-minute epic opening every single time. The episodes are barely 20 minutes long, so you're just taking up like 1/10 of the runtime simply to play this intro again. They know how badass it is and just want to inject you with it every 20 minutes. I fully rate it. In general, Bastard is a show that is probably going to stir a lot of distaste amongst certain viewers. Let me put it this way, it isn't politically correct per se. The entire show revolves around Dark Schneider trying to seduce every pretty girl he encounters, having a particular penchant for virgins. Most of the time they wind up falling head over heels for him, and near enough all of them are displayed as tits and ass. For example, at one point Dark Schneider has to suck some poison out of a defeated opponent on her abdomen, and to do so, he rips off her bra. Why? Bastard is sexually charged and perverted, and despite aiming to show off those female main characters as strong and able to combat against Dark Schneider, it still ends up being very patronizing and degrading to women. Of course, the show is 100% aware of this, often poking fun at Dark Schneider being an egocentric sleaze. At one point, the threat of his giant cock is fought off by symbolism. Generally, I feel like the often whimsical nature of the show is able to at least back up these narrative choices, yet at many points it still genuinely feels quite rapey, and it wouldn't surprise me if this offended a whole bunch of people. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these themes, and be respectful to other commenters while you're at it, please. You have been warned. The animation here is solid, nice colour schemes, cool monsters, some pretty decent action sequences, that's all good, but I kinda wish they had delved a bit more into the fact this medieval society is built after a developed world has been destroyed. Aesthetically, the entire show is like a period piece, whereas I think it would have been much cooler to blend that with some modern day locations and tech. Of course, it comes across that the survivors of the war had to rebuild the world from scratch, and due to the lack of knowledge, they wound up in this medieval setting. But even if a bunch of Metallicana integrated the ruins of modern cities, or some recognizable modern things are presented as artifacts, or the survivors find different uses for them to provide some introspective humor, that would have been cool. But instead, the world presented in the setup of the intro in episode 1 and the world we spend the bulk of the runtime in feel like they're from two different shows, and the only thing linking them is Anthrax, the god of destruction, who, by the way, is a spin on Anthrax, just for more metal. Due to the severe lack of exploring its own setup more in depth, the show treads many paths we've seen before. But then again, maybe it just wants to be a switch off and enjoy the ride kind of show, rather than a commentary on the modern world from an alternate perspective after an apocalypse. So overall then, Bastard, heavy metal, dark fantasy. It may very well be the greatest name for a series ever, but the series itself is far from that level of greatness. It's problematic and doesn't quite live up to its own potential, but it kinda knows that. It knows how silly, over the top, exaggerated, and wild it is, as well as very likely touching some nerves with a lot of viewers. But if you get the MO and don't take it too seriously, you may very well have a blast. What did you think of season 1 of Bastard? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, Ghoul Gang, I'm Connor from Unleash the Ghouls. If you enjoyed this vid, a cheeky sub would be much appreciated, and I'll be back in a post-apocalyptic future. Cheers out!